Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. All right, let me just move my camera a little bit. Woo! There is so much to discuss. There is so much to talk about. Apologies for being a little bit late. It was just compiling all the questions together. Oh, let me just look at that. Just get this here. Oh, sorry, tidy up the backdrop a little bit there. So many questions, 2 pages of questions, and you can see here I've prepared, gone through the numbers, looked at the comments, this, that, and the other, and tried to put them together in a nice coherent order. Also as well, oops, not this one was it? There we go. Rainbow Clefts. Rainbow Cleft said it's a nice warm 41 Fahrenheit here, so you guys won't need me to tell you that apparently there is a big, not apparently, there is a big winter storm along the way. So I just want to say to everyone, make sure that you're prepared. Understand there's been long queues for food, petrol, all of that stuff. Obviously everyone is buying. Make sure as well, if you do have, particularly if you're in one of those colder states, naturally colder states anyway, like your Colorados in the middle where all the snow comes down, do make sure as well that you have your backup generator or fuel for the backup generator. Again, don't panic buy, but make sure you've got water, bottled water. Like I said, backup generator, electric blanket. However, remember there might be some power cuts as well. So make sure you've got lots of extra blankets, all that stuff, just in case you have to kind of snuggle in, batteries, that kind of stuff. Get your foods in, all that stuff, and prepare. Because I was looking at the news today. I don't know how much it's changed, but they said there's going to be not only the cold plunge, but they're expecting quite a lot of snow and some high winds. So there could be some snowstorms and stuff like that. So if you're affected, which is actually a lot of people, it's going across the whole swathe. I think they said it's going to cover 1,500 miles or the like. So, so if you're affected by that, I just want you to prepare, stay warm, make sure that your pets and all of that stuff are good, check in on family members, neighbors, and all that jazz. And then hopefully all will be okay. Okay, as you know, there is a tremendous amount going on. Also, as well, someone just said here, always stuck here, just praying the electricity stayed on, made it through last year's deep freeze. Yeah, and then Tony Spring is saying it's 67 in Bermuda. That is pretty cold for Bermuda, I must say. Let me just scroll up to the top just to welcome those that were the early starters, because sometimes they get overlooked, don't they? What's this here? What's that? Mox Goods. Susie, the door shut and put a cork in all the air vents. Yes, good for you. Here we've got Patricia, hello from Colorado Springs, waiting to hear what the Fab Four can tell us tonight. It's just me tonight. Remember, this is Friday Fry Up. It's just you and us with the questions. Let's just do some quick hellos here. Hello, Sharon from Central Florida. If you live in that path of the snow and ice storm heading your way, please stay safe and warm. Yeah, it's going just above Florida. It's going to hit quite a bit of Texas, isn't it? Remember that last, well, not the last, I think a couple of cold plunges back from before with ice coming through the air fans and all that stuff. That was madness, wasn't it? And then someone said here, Michelle said, went to AIDS instead, as I wasn't going to stand in lines with no carts to be had. I have pizza for the weekend. Good for you. So yes, make sure you've got everything looked after. Tamara saying Arctic, Elder. Here we've got, oh, Tamara said elbows up, Canada, thank you. Greetings from NC, which of course is North Carolina. Even North Carolina, I think, is going to get a bit of cold. Someone's saying here, Tamara saying, I bought Hoagie's drawing. It's amazing. Using it as part of my daily meditation. Oh, thank you. Oh, Tamara, thank you so much. You remind me, actually. Thank you so much. Just in case you're not sure of what Tamara is talking about, this is the illustration here. So it's available for digital download. This is the size. Remember, this is the card that came out. Yeah, I remember when I did that, I had that dream where I did the tarot reading for Duck L'Orange, and I pulled out the card and it became this huge thing, and the pyramids were moving, the eye was spinning, and it was all the Sahara Desert and stuff like that. And thank you. Many of you have gone for it. And that is one of the things tomorrow that I'm going to do on my Coffee with Hoagie. You guys, many of you have gone for that. I did put extra dates, folks, and those are going very well as well. And one of the things I want to experiment with is doing group meditation on that card. Yeah, doing group meditation on that card. In fact, what I'm going to do is, forgive me while I just because I realize oh God, what's going on? Don't play up now. Oh, what the hell is going on? I'm just trying to do, oh, look at this bloody, what is going on? What I want to do is, I just want to make sure that you've got the links to that. Oh, this is just weird. All right, YouTube just playing up. I have to do it post show. Well, I wanted to put the link in this video so that if you want to get the picture, then you can. Let me just try one more time and then we'll start off with the show. All right, don't play around. Oh, let's just go. All right, it was asking me to sign in, and my printer was playing up earlier as well. I had to change the ink. Typical. Un momento, folks. Let me just make sure. Yeah, 1 second. Un momento, un momento. Oh. Oh. Right. Just getting that up, and I'm just going to do like a copy and paste. Yes, yes. Oh God, such a pain in the you know what. Try not to swear. I'm trying to kind of tame my language a little bit. Doesn't work, of course. I still get tempted to kind of like cuss out and swear and stuff like that, but let me just do a copy and paste. Praxis Nation, yes, Instagram. There we go. So one of the things we're going to be talking about again tonight is Praxis Nation. So that's one of the earlier links. Copy, but if you go into, I'm literally putting the video description now. Just return, copy, paste. Just so you've got it there, because I know many of you would like the illustration, and then click save. And that should be there. All right, let's start the show. Apologies for a little bit of admin there. We're going to dive in. I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. First question coming in from Nick Minks, and it's about Nigel Farage. She says, Nigel Farage's trip to Davos was hosted and paid for by the 10 billion family trust of an Iranian-born billionaire. The Guardian has learned, which is a newspaper in the UK. Will the UK wake up to the fact he'll be another bought leader if reform were to get in? Great question. Yeah, great question, Nick Minks. And one of the things you guys know that I've been talking about, obviously, forever and a day, and you've heard me going on and on and on about Pluto being in sidereal Capricorn. And the reason why I keep repeating it is because A, there's a lot of new subscribers who may not know this. So thank you to all the new subscribers. And please be sure to like, share, hype, all of that stuff. Subscribe. Subscribing is free. Obviously, membership is something paid. Anyway, Pluto is in sidereal Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of what? Government, corporations, corporate power, the lobbyists. Pluto is where we get the word plutocracy from. So this is what we're seeing now. Whatever sign Pluto is going through, sidereally, which of course is the accurate place of the stars, it will show where the corruption is, where the power plays are, where the issues are. Of course, Western astrology still works. I always say a good astrologer is a good astrologer. But with the Vedic, you can literally just see it. Pluto is in sidereal Capricorn right now. What are we seeing? We're talking about the corruption in the corporate world. We're talking about the oligarchy. Yeah, we're talking about the tech bros and these islands that they want to build for themselves. We're talking about the corruption of the elites. Yeah, the Epstein files, all the billionaires that are in that. You see all that stuff, how they're literally big corporations are bribing the government, or Duck L'Orange taking bribes. We're talking about Davos. Yeah, it doesn't get more Capricorn than Davos, because Capricorn is the establishment, government, rules, regulations, corporations, big money, power. Yeah, it's all there, isn't it? And of course, Duck L'Orange is causing some issues. So let's just look into this. Will the UK wake up to the fact Farage will be another bought leader if reform were to get in? So this is more about the British public. Let's see. Let me have a little slurp of this. And just so you know, that is peach tea, not whiskey. I don't want to get done for branding, but yeah, that's, you see, peach. Just in case you, mind you, I wouldn't mind if it was neat whiskey with all the stuff going on. Anyway, will the British public wake up to Farage bag? Okay, that came out reversed. Will the British public wake up to Farage bag? I'm going to try and go at pace because I want to try and get through 8 today. Oh, I don't know if I'll make it, but maybe 7. Farage bag. Will the British public wake up? It's all connected, guys. It's all about this. The corporations. Pluto in Capricorn. This is what it's all about. The big money, yeah, which we can see. All right, here we go. Oh, this is pretty good news. So the card that fell out, yeah, was the Four of Cups in reverse. When the card is the right way up, this is a card of contemplation, reflection, but not like in the options on the table. Yeah, when it's reversed, it's kind of like even more so in a way. This can talk about like almost like regret and disappointment and just yeah, it's a bit of a wah card when it's reversed. So this is kind of like a deeper reflection, but also just a sense of kind of disappointment, just like, really? Yeah. Then when we go to the main deck, look at this. We have the Hermit card that comes out. Oh, thank you. That's someone who just bought a picture. Mwah! Thank you so much. Much appreciated. And we're going to be doing group meditations on that because I want to see if we can use it to change timelines for the United States. Yeah. That's what's going to be happening on Sunday in our private Coffee with Hoagie chat. If you want to go along for that, click on my website and you can get the next dates in like every 2 weeks. Anyway, UK, Hermit. This is the card of deep reflection, going within, having to do self-examination. Yeah, so the British public are going to have to do a bit more self-examination, and they're going to be doing a bit more examination of Farage because of Farage is very closely connected with Trump. Yeah, if we look here, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and you know, when I'm doing political readings, I associate the Queen of Pentacles with the electorate. Yeah, so the electorate is going to be doing more research. There's going to be more scrutiny of Farage bag. If we look here, we've got the Six of Swords, which is about moving to smoother waters. I think as the Trump regime continues to implode, and as Duck L'Orange gets more and more demented and erratic, the British public are going to move on from Farage. Yeah, because they're going to be like, he's your main man, and look what he stands for. Now, when the British public does move on, it's actually going to be aggressively so. There could even be some elements of conflict, or you could have those that support Farage and the regime, because unfortunately there are a lot of people that are authoritarian. Yeah, who are fascist, and they've been waiting for their moment. So there could be some skirmishes there, or the situation moving forward at pace. Sometimes, particularly with the likes of Farage and the far right, they believe attack is the best form of defense. So when the time comes, there could be some ruckus. However, if we look here, we get the Judgment card, which is the wake-up call. And in many ways, this is what Degrasse is doing. He's waking up the whole world. But this is also the UK getting their wake-up call, particularly in light of what Trump said only just recently in regards to NATO, and just like, oh, they weren't on the front lines and all of this BS that he came out with. And everyone's playing the footage of British troops on the front lines, Danish, Swedish, whoever else was there in Afghanistan. So he's not only insulted, he's insulted everyone, all the veterans and all the people that died. Yeah, so it's a wake-up call. My thing is that the British people will eventually, well, a lot of them have worked it out, but even the ones that are reticent, they will have to deeply reflect as the situation with Degrasse being out of control continues. Forgive me if I'm speaking quickly. Got a lot to get through. All right, let's dive into the next question. This is from Alexandra. Thanks so much, Alexandra, for your question. And this is about Jordan Bardella. Hi, Hoagie. Thanks for all you do. What do the cards say about Jordan Bardella, the hateful hunk set to take over the national rally if Marine Le Pen goes down? So this is talking about French politics. Marine Le Pen is the daughter of a far-right political force in France, which was very significant. She's very much carried on his legacy and has basically improved with sort of like each election cycle, sort of like the chances. Yeah, so more to the far right of French politics. And Jordan Bardella is sort of like her deputy, but he's sort of like the senior guy now. And then he is very high in the French opinion polls currently, but very inexperienced. So what I'm going to do is, because it's just us, let's just put in Jordan Bardella so you can get a look-see on this guy. Bardella, there you go, he comes up very quickly. All right, so if you take a look here, let me just share screen with you guys, just so you can see who we're talking about. All right, this is him. Yeah, this is Jordan Bardella. You can see got quite a look going on, and he is young as well. Let's just see, I can't remember how old he is, but I think he's still in his 20s. Let's take a look at Jordan Bardella. Is a French politician who's been the president of the National Rally, which is, of course, Marine Le Pen's party, since 2022, after serving as acting president from September 2021 to November 2022, and as vice president from 2019 to 2022. So born September 13th, 1995. So he's only 30 years old. Yeah, so he's not 20-something, but he's when this all began, he was still in his 20s. So that gives you an idea. Let me just stop sharing. And let's pull the cards on this. So let's see, what are Jordan Bardella's chances? Could this rather handsome guy, but on the right, could he do well? And study after study, unfortunately, you know, people are quite shallow. They will often go for the better looking candidate. Just human behavior, unfortunately. But let's see what cards he gets. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Jordan Bardella, what are his prospects for becoming the possible president of France after Macron? What are his chances? He's obviously popular in the polls. He is also going to be very popular with the Gen Z population, by the way. A lot of them are very conservative, you know. Everyone thinks that Gen Z is liberal. No. A lot of them are more, remember, they're the very liberal parents, and often the children rebel by doing the opposite. All right, Jordan Bardella. Jordan Bardella. Jordan Bardella. For entertainment purposes only. Jordan Bardella. This one. All right. Let's have a look, see. Bloody hell. Ooh, I'm going to have to pull a clarifier here. All right. This is very interesting. If we look here, yeah. Oh gosh, there we go. If we look here, he gets the Sun card. This is him, yeah. The golden child, yeah. He's like, it's like he's Marine Le Pen's golden child. He's the bright, shiny thing. He is very young, as we know. That's to be in your 20s and 30s for politics is very young. Those people are hitting their stride. Remember, Obama was, I think, 40 something when he became president. That was seen as very young. In the United States, you have to be a minimum of 35. So the fact that he's so prominent at such an age, come to his 20s, is as if he is the golden child. Bold, bright, naked. You can see here his youth, yeah, the young boy coming. And Marine is like, oh, my golden child, yeah, as it were. And this is also how he's seen in the public. However, the next card here is the Nine of Wands. This shows that underneath that golden exterior, this is someone who has been through quite a lot and is very, very determined. This is someone who is shrewd and uncanny. I mean, not uncanny, shrewd and canny, not to be underestimated. His struggles in life have helped him, and I think he talks a lot about his working class background and his struggles, but this is also part of his shtick. Yeah, he should not be underestimated. However, if we see here, we get the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, of course, can talk about seeing things from a different perspective. You know, it's not a fast card. It is almost being hamstrung, as it were, but the foot is free. Lena also interprets this card as the willing sacrifice. So it could well be that Marine Le Pen is the willing sacrifice in this. Or maybe she said, I will offer myself as sacrifice that you can go forward. Yeah. So there is that element there. But this also shows as well, there might be a point in his campaign where he stalls, or there has to be a change in perspective, maybe in light of what is happening with Duck L'Orange. If we look here, the next card that comes out is the Four of Swords, which talks about being wounded in battle. This card for me is even more like death than the Death card. But when you see what the next card is, it's like, oh, now this can be talking about wounding in battle, retreating, having to reflect, ponder. But as you know, this card for me can mean literal death. Now, he's very young for that, but I have to say what I see, it can also mean the ending of one's career. Yes, it can also be a metaphorical death. However, look at his next card. He does get the Death card. So what does this talk about? It doesn't always mean literal death, but when it comes together with the Four of Swords, that does make me a bit concerned. So there might be something he needs to look at there. This may not be happening immediately now, but maybe down the line. So let's make a record of this. Yeah, it's currently, as I'm doing this, it's the 24th of January, 2026, and it is 1:45 in the morning. Yeah, wow, the time has gone so quick. But mind you, I started a bit late. So transformation, a transformation that cannot be avoided. Let's put a clarifier on that to see what is this transformation, which is like a death or career change or end that cannot be avoided. Well, mind you, everything that's going on in the world right now. Let's see. If he gets positive cards, it will be a positive transformation. Neutral, neutral. Bad cards, then we know it's going to be a bit skid row for him at some point. What's the clarification, Spirit, on this Death card for Bardella? Very interesting. And can you guys hear me okay? I think you can. I think you can. All right. Make sure, yeah. Looks like the mic is working. Here we are. We have the Sword of Truth, which is known as a yes card. It's known as a positive card. If he is perceived as honest, he may do very well. Yeah, I just have to say what I see. Aces in general are yes cards, they're positive cards. This is the Sword of Truth. So if he is seen as speaking truth to power, if he can galvanize the youth, if he can talk about the cost of living and all of this stuff, you know, he might do well. I have to say what I see. we look here, we got the 8 of Wands, which again talks about Wands. Remember, talks about entrepreneurship, business. This is also emails flying through the air, things going at great pace. Yeah, it's like, and then here we got the Wheel of Fortune, which means he is not in control of his fate, but neither is France. So I'm going to read this backwards. You know, I like to read the cards backwards from time to time. The whole world is in a state of flux. Yeah, the whole global world order is changing. And we're going to look a little bit more at that in other readings. But this is the world right now. We're in the state of flux. Duck Larange has spun that wheel and spun everyone. And all of us are feeling a bit like this. Everything seems to be speeding up, yeah, growing at great pace and speed, like the Ace of Wands. And here we have the Sword of Truth, yeah, the truths are coming out. People are starting to what? Cut through the BS. The illusions and the delusions are being sliced open, and plausible deniability is not really an option for people anymore. Why? Death card, yeah, this big transformation. There's a big transformation happening in France, but also in the world. Many careers are going to end, yeah. So this is why Bardella has to kind of watch out and try and navigate here. Because why? Because there is a change of perspective. The global world perspective is changing, and so is the perspective in France. It's going to take a resilience, yeah, fortitude and persistence for leaders to hold on to their jobs. But Bardella has youth on his side, yeah, and then someone's going to be crowned the victor, yeah. It may be Bardella, or it could be some other young, bright, eye-catching character, yeah. So if he does become president, it's because the global world order has changed. But they want a new face for that new order in terms of France, and it's by him appealing to the youth. If he does get there, but there is danger as well. There is danger. It's a choppy time. Yeah, it's a choppy time. So it's not guaranteed. And that's sometimes why I read the cards backwards. So I hope that was useful for you. Thank you, Alexandra, for your question. All right, let's rapidly move on to question number 3. And then we're going to be looking at Davos and WHO and all of this kind of stuff. It's mind spinning, isn't it? All of this cray. All right, question number 3. Now, this is coming from Nick Minks again. And there's a response here from Denise Ferguson. And she says, the US has officially withdrawn from the World Health Organization, the WHO, leaving the UN agency without one of its biggest donors. What lies ahead for the WHO, and will it survive without US funds? Great question. And then Denise Ferguson replies back. US still owes their dues for 2023 and 2025. They want a pandemic to hit the US so they can thin out the herd. This is what Denise is saying in terms of the regime, the Trump regime, getting rid of the WHO or not supporting it. Is that the real reason why they won't pass the ACA subsidies? The more people who don't have insurance, the better, she says. Wouldn't shock me if they tainted our food or water supply in some way. Well, they are already tainted, unfortunately, food and water. All that lead piping, remember, and all the BS with the data centers using fresh water. Anyway, who would investigate? The head of every branch of government is a Trump loyalist. Since Duck wrote this executive order almost immediately upon taking office, is part of a grand plan. So that is Denise Ferguson there joining the dots of what is going on. Let's just do a read on the WHO and see what its future is. What's the future for the WHO? Can they survive this lack of funding? Remember as well that the Trump regime has pulled out over 60 international agreements, but yet he set up this board of peace. I mean, you can't make it up. It's like a beauty pageant of dictators. It's just, anyway. WHO. What's the energy there, Spirit? WHO. Let's go over here. WHO. WHO. This. WHO. Yeah. Okay. All right, this is what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen. WHO, they're going to collaborate. Yeah, this is the Three of Pentacles. It's the card of collaboration, working together on a grand plan. They're going to have to regroup, recalibrate, find new partners, as it were. They'll probably reach out to the EU and other global organizations. They may even reach out to China. Who knows? Yeah, but then they might be disappointed, but they're going to shop around, basically. If we look here, we get the Moon card. Nothing is clear by moonlight. As you guys will know, my interpretation with this card, the dog represents our duties, responsibilities, the things that we owe to society, the things that we should do, the norms. Here you have the water, which can represent the subconscious, and you have the lobster coming out, which can represent the id. It is going towards the wolf who wants to be wild and free. The challenge is to walk between the pillars of truth when the pathway is not clear. So this means the WHO is going to have to do a lot of backdoor negotiations, agreements, and all of that stuff in order to maintain its funding. Oh, thank you. Thank you to whoever that just bought a picture. Thank you. Much appreciated. So collaboration, but behind the scenes, some kind of back dealing in some way. They are going to have to be entrepreneurial. Let me have a slurp. King of Wands can talk about entrepreneurship, CEOs, etc. They're going to have to show leadership. Yeah. However, look at this, Nine of Pentacles, money, 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 money. Yeah, they will find that money. I think what will happen is Duck L'Orange and those that want to see the fall of the WHO will think, we've done them in now, not giving them any money. They'll find the money from other sources. Other countries will come in and take up the slack. Remember I said the global world order is changing. What the Duck L'Orange regime is going to find out is how willing other countries are to step up to the plate and give the money. Yeah, this isn't a card of poverty. The Nine of Pentacles is one of the wealthiest cards in the deck. And then if you look here, look, Ace of Cups, yes card, wish fulfillment, happiness. So basically, Duck L'Orange is like, we don't want you. We're not going to support you anymore. And they're like, all right, biatch, we'll just talk with our friends. Yeah, we'll talk with our friends. We'll do our secret negotiations behind the scenes with our business persons and leaders. And we're gonna get people to reach into our pockets. We've got deep pockets. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that purchase. And then we've got the Ace of Cups. So they're happy. It's not going to work. It's too established. And again, Pluto in Capricorn, I put there on the notes. Look, when you try and kill something, this is one of my sayings. When you try and kill something, it fights for its life. Very often, if you want something to end or some organization to end, or often the best form is neglect. You just leave it, yeah, until it falls apart. Yeah, it can. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Right. Let's see who else is in the chat. Now we're going to talk about Trump and Davos. Let's see here. Sally Ann, hi from UKGB, other side of the country, to Hogarth. I can stand on my hill and wave to you across the pond. Ah, yes. It's nice to have a fellow Brit in the chat for once. Ooh. Waiting for storm results. Let's see here. Kimberly says, waiting for storm results in North. Is that Alaska? Alaska? Going to be a long weekend till Monday. Absolutely, indeed. Pittsburgh is freezing. Deborah's saying, this is, let's see here. 1 second. Let me scroll down, actually. We're going to be on NATO, Trump, NATO next. Let's just see here. Barbara's saying, hi, anyone in the wake of the storm. If you lose power and have a gas stove, boil pans of water. It will heat up your house. Oh, that's a good tip. And then we've got Canada in the house as well. Connie's here. Greetings from British Columbia, Canada. Everyone, good to see you all. So lovely to have you all in. Canadians, Australians, people from all over the world where you guys are most awake. Of course, when it comes to Australia, New Zealand, it's their morning, yeah, because they're that much further ahead. And wow, there's over 1,000 of you in the chat. Big love, everyone, and thank you for those that are purchasing the picture. Use it for meditation. We're going to do it together to try and change the timelines, yeah? change the timelines. What's this here? TC Bork says, I must say I have one of the best electric companies around. They are a member of Co-op, and our power is never off for very long, I think they meant to say. All right. Oh, here we go. Carney. Let's just say here. Shirley says, we are fortunate to have Carney as our prime minister. Absolutely you are. He is one of the most seasoned and qualified people out there, especially for finance. Yeah, he's Capricorn as well, Capricorn energy. He worked in, I think, senior levels of banking in America. He was the Canada. He was the Bank of England, yeah, the head guy at the Bank of England. And of course, now he is Prime Minister of Canada. And Duc Larange, in trying to messing everything up, shoehorned him into power, and that ended up being a good thing for Canada, didn't it? Sharon says, ice storms are the worst. Oh, indeed. Oh, someone's saying here, bringing in firewood tomorrow, lots of it. Electric heat too, big candles, got to put extra straw and insulation on the outside patio, I think they meant to say. We'll snuggle in with the 4 indoor kitties. Ah, lovely. What's this? What's this, man? What's this here? Minnesota strong. All right, let me carry on with the next questions. All right, where was I? Question number 4 now. So Denise Ferguson, with a reply this time from Nick Minks. Yeah, they're good. They have a good chat. She says, Denise, since Trump's Davos speech, sentiment towards Americans have changed abroad. His remarks cut deep into NATO countries, especially among those who served alongside the USA military after 9/11. Yeah, let's not forget, it was the USA was the first and only country so far to invoke Article 50. Yeah, is that, no, Article 5, isn't it? Oh, I can't remember. You know, the one where you all come together. 50 or 5, forgive me. My brain just went. People abroad feel Americans should be protesting in the streets daily, boycotting corporations who support him, and putting intense pressures on members of Congress. As an American, the comments were hurtful, but contained a lot of truth. Yeah, the world is pissed, especially in Europe. We are livid. Yeah, but anyway, not you personally, of course, just with the regime. At this point, waiting for midterms is not the solution, since Democrats won't be sworn in until 2027. Don't know what the question should be, Hogarth. Please use your wisdom and insight to come up with the right question for this moment in time. Then Nick Mink says, maybe whether enough GOP politicians are going to find the balls to stand against the Orange Tosspot and his goons and bring in 25th Amendment. Look, the main thing, what the true fight and the reason why everything is as it is because Pluto is in Capricorn. Yeah, it's corporations. So let's just do the file open. Oh, typical, I don't have it. 1 second. Let me just get the US chart open. Found a chart for Greenland as well. I'm gonna have to do a special on that. What am I doing? Is that it? Yeah, and then let's do country. Sorry, forgive me, folks. Country. And then US, there we are. Declaration of Independence chart. Open. All right. So let's do a little quickie bit of astrology together. Let me just share screen. And entire screen. Share. And let's do a little bit of the old. Here we go. Right. USA chart. You know this. 1776, 4th of July. Yeah, 6:30 p.m. This is the one us Vedic astrologers use. Now, if you look here in the USA chart, you'll see Pluto is in sidereal Capricorn retrograde. Any planet that is retrograde in a chart has more karma on it. It means it's even more subconscious than it normally would be. And it means the main karmas are associated with that. And it has to be really dug into. It's kind of like, I say, a retrograde planet is like an orange that you have to squeeze, but you have to squeeze harder to get the juice out. Pluto is one of the most subconscious of the subconscious planets. The outer planets are Uranus, maybe not as much Uranus, but Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. Neptune and Pluto in particular are very subconscious planets. A country or a person has to work hard to understand those part of their lives, because very much Pluto can deal with the reptilian brain, yeah, the amygdala. This is what Donald Trump taps into. This is why sometimes I don't say it enough. I call him Mr. Amygdala or Black Mirror. Yeah, I need to say that more as well. Trump is a black mirror. Yeah, if you think of obsidian, that's what old mirrors used to be made out of. So I know I'm going quickly. America is having its first Pluto return, guys. This is rare. We are at, oh, the foxes are going. We're at a very rare time in human history, because the Pluto return happens only once every 248 years. That's how long Pluto takes to go around the sun. So basically, pretty much every 250 years, a nation has a Pluto return. Yeah. So there's not going to be any other nation that I can think of that's in this ballpark, unless it was created around this time, which maybe Canada's quite close. But it is a Pluto return, yeah, which means everything changes. It's happening here in sidereal Capricorn, which is what? Corporations, government. You guys will know I warned ages ago, didn't I? I said on the 29th of March, 2025, sidereal Saturn will go into sidereal Pisces. It's up here right now with Neptune and with currently the Moon Chiron series. And I said illusions and delusions will be destroyed. Why? Because Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions. It's shadows. Saturn is the planet of reality, but it's also the corporate world, governments. Illusions and delusions being shattered around what? Governments, corporations, the wealthy people, and what they have been up to. Yeah. Let's not forget, it was only a few days ago we had the new moon in where? Sidereal Capricorn. Yep. So if I do this here, let's go here to the 18th. Yeah. I'll try and be quick. The 18th. Here. You see the big, oh, in fact, oh, that's, oh, Jesus. Let me just put this as, let's put this as 1600 and then calculate. Right, there we are, yeah? So on the 18th, and we had that new moon, which was Mars, yeah, which deals with what? War, energy, conflict. Mercury, communications, media. Moon deals with the public. Sun deals with CEOs, leaders. Venus deals with women and asset classes of all kinds. And Pluto, of course, is the underworld, the underbelly, yeah? The corruption that needs to be exposed. This was all happening around the time of what was happening with, of course, Rene Good, ICE on the streets, Davos, all of it. Do you see how it all fits together? Activating the second house very strongly for the USA chart, yeah, bringing a lot of disturbance, a lot of energy there. The second house deals with values, money, savings, food, drink, face, neck, teeth, asset classes and values, what we value, yeah, as a person or as a nation. So what? The values are being exposed, but are being examined. Now we're going into, America's going into general strike, and we'll talk about that. I wanted to show you how that energy is playing out. There's no illusion anymore about just how wicked a lot of these corporations are. Have you heard in Walmart now, I've seen on YouTube, let me just stop the share. They are tracking, they put trackers now underneath the trolley, which is scanning all the products as you put them in. They're now doing electronic pricing. And they said one of the things they're going to try and do is that as you walk down the aisle, the price is going to be adjusted according to what they think you can pay. You can't make this stuff up. And we're going to look at Praxis Nation as well. Anyway, so Trump, Davos, let's go back. Rest of the world. Let's just see, and to answer Denise Ferguson's question, let's just see what the world thinks of Trump and the impact he made at Davos, and what will be the consequences We're seeing a lot of debt being sold off already, but what will be the consequences of the Davos debacle? I'm also going to do a follow-up show on Venezuela because I met Nelliana today and she gave me some fascinating insights into Venezuela. So all is not what it seems. Or it's always good if you can talk to a person who's from the country that is in the news. They lift up the lid for you, show you more. Although I'm still not pleased with Maria Corina Machado. I think what she did, giving him the prize, didn't help her. Anyway, never mind. NATO, Davos. In fact, what does Davos think of Declarange, huh? These billionaires, yeah? 1,500 private jets flew in. And then they want to talk with Sir David Attenborough about the environment. Let's have a look. Sorry if I'm going at pace, guys. Lots of ground to cover. Oh. Nah, it's not gone down well at all. Trump at Davos for the global leaders and billionaires. It has gone down like a cold cup of sick, as we would say in the UK, for something that is utterly repulsive. This is it. This is permanent damage. I'm sorry if you're finding this a bit bleak, but this means permanent damage to the US reputation after that. After the Davos, I forgot to say, Harold Lucknick was hosting a dinner, and Christine Lagarde, who is the head of the IMF, International Monetary Fund, she walked out of the dinner. They had to abandon the dinner before dessert was even served because Harold Lucknick was getting heckled. Let me tell you, when it comes to these billionaires, you know, they've got their own agendas, but they like things to be smooth. Yeah, they're coming with very much with that Taurus energy, that Venusian energy, asset classes, money, wealth. If you are hosting one of these dinners and you get heckled, you get this. Trump has done a lot of damage, a lot. Here. Didn't go down well. Yeah, this is the King of Swords, which is the card, as you know. King and Queen of Swords I associate with accountancy, money, finance. Yeah, so again, there is this element here. This is also deals with a man who is astute, sharp, critical. Yeah, this is why it deals with accountants and money men and accuracy. So he offended a lot of the people with the sharp eyes. They were like, nah. We look here. We get the Hierophant. The Hierophant deals with the established order. It can also have a patriarchal quality. It talks about the norms, yeah, the established norms, the rules, the regulations, pontification, yeah. So, of course, those that are for the established norms are like, what on earth is going on here? This also means as well, countries will be changing their rules and regulations because of what Trump has said and done. Just in case we weren't sure, look at this. The Two of Wands. Twos are always about making decisions or making plans. The Two of Wands in particular really does talk about planning, long-term planning, having a vision. You can see he is here looking at the world. Davos brings the whole world together and they make global decisions together. But the US has got this. Yeah, they're like, I don't want to swear, but you know, you can imagine the words in my mind. Here, Nine of Swords. People are just like, what the is going on with the United States? They're distraught. They're like, this is just ridiculous. Yeah, the guy's a lunatic. 25th Amendment already. Let's just pull. Yeah. You don't need me to tell you that he's doing a lot of damage. This is the people that really need to hear this are these who are still latched onto the orange teat. Yeah. Let's get a clarification on this Nine of Swords. Right. Yeah. Here. Countries are going to look after their own interests. They're going to preserve their own borders. They're going to preserve their own money. They're going to rein it in. Yeah. I made some videos a couple of years ago now, and I remember I got a bit poo-pooed at the time. I know I keep talking about this. Trust me, I know I'm over it. But do you remember when I was warning? I said the dollar as the global reserve currency is under threat. And I said BRICS nations and this, that, and the other. And at the time, it was like, oh, no, that's never going to happen. No, it is. People are putting back. This is the card of conservation, protecting, particularly protecting the money, economy. Yeah, they're going to be with calling in their debts. That Davos thing, nah. And the regime are going to find out. And also as well, this is talking about general strike and stuff like that, isn't it? Which is now happening. Let's get onto that. But that was probably one of the worst moves he's ever done. All right. Here we go. This follows on. Nick Mink says, who will buy the USA debt? And I put here, remind of Rahu and Ketu Dasha. So remember the Dasha sequence that the United States is in. Let me just share the screen again so you can see how this all fits together. Yeah, entire screen. Share. Just get this up because you guys need to see this. Now, let's move forward. Let's get to the correct. Here we are. Now, you see here, guys, where it says RARA. Forgive me if you've seen this before, but it's worth mentioning again because it is quite complicated. This is the Dasha sequence, the Vimsatori Mahadasha sequence. Imagine it's like being in the back seat of a car. For those of you who know my channel, America is in the back seat of the wild rally car, yeah? Which is one of the wildest rides, which is the Rahu Dasha. Now, what you'll see here, currently, the United States from the 6th of September 2023 has been in Rahu Mercury. Mercury also deals with money, liquidity, all of this stuff, and it's in the 8th house of other people's money. There with Rahu, which exaggerates it, makes it more. This is why the stock market has gone up and up and up and up and up, but it's not connected to Main Street, yeah, where you and I live. However, it will soon go into Rahu Ketu, and this in a way is like a flipping, yeah? It's the energy of the nodes becomes concrete, and they both activate at the same time. Ketu, who I call Snip Snip, is in the 2nd house of the USA chart. 2nd house deals with what? Money, values. Pluto deals with what? Underbelly, corporate, corruption. So the money is about to have this kind of snip, snip, yeah? What has Trump done? He's gone to Davos and all of this stuff. There's that big AI bubble that is going to have to burst at some point. Rahu, which also deals with what? Deceit, greed, narcissists, liars, cheats, sits in the 8th house, which is stock market, economy, other people's money, there with Mercury. And the United States goes into Rahu Ketu on the 26th of March, 2026. And you guys know I spoke about this last time, and I said that could be the time when there's going to be a significant shift in the financial fortunes of the United States. But we see it playing out now. Remember, the energy builds up. It starts about 3 months before the actual date. Now there's things talking about, of course, general strike and stuff like that. So we're going to get into that. Look at the time. All right. Nick Mink says, with some countries selling off US debt, do the cards show who'll be buying it? Oh God, look what fell out. Let me drink some of this. Bloody hell. Who will be buying US debt in the future? Also as well, what I need to let you know, one of the reasons why Dr. Orange backed off the whole Greenland thing, and the reason why he wants Greenland is for the broligarchy, yeah? The tech oligarchs, they want Greenland to build their Praxis Nation over there. What Lena told me, I'm having one of my rants now, what Lena told me on the Wednesday show, which she remembered after we finished, she said her brother works in sort of like city planning, construction, all of this stuff, specifically for cold countries. And apparently he's worked in Russia for 30 years and he knows about permafrost, which of course Greenland has a lot of. And when she said it, it reminded me, when you drill into permafrost, you can often release microbes and viruses that are hundreds of thousands of years old, which no one on Earth has immunity to. There's that. Also, as well, we need to remember when you build on ice, when you squash ice, it melts. Yeah, the bond between the H2O and all of that kind of stuff, it breaks under pressure. That's why whenever you build on permafrost, you're not supposed to build directly on it. Yeah, you get the supporting structures. They want to build these buildings of absolute tonnage. Oh, sabotage! Sabotage! Oh my God. You see these douchebags. Did you see that? Holding on to my obsidian. Did you see that? Sabotage. I think there are people that watch my channel, you know. Son of a bitches. I'm going to get this word out. My God, I hope you're all still there. Are you? Can you still hear me after that interference? That's what they want Greenland for, yeah? And that attack that just happened there shows you. Anyway, so where was I? Who will buy the US debt? Wow, God, I'm getting a sweat on here. Gee whiz. Bloody psychic attack bastards. Anyway, you still with me, yeah? All right. Who will buy US debt? In fact, what is the world's reaction to US debt? What will they do? We get the 8 of Cups. That's not going to be good. Yeah, or cards that symbolize walking away. Oh, God. Declarange, eh? Declarange. Oh, Jesus. All right. Oh, okay. So you saw me shuffling before I got that sabotage there. Can you hear me? Let me just scroll down. Yeah, did you see what, did you see? Still here, people are saying. Good. And then Purple is saying, I'm putting selenite all over the screen for you, Hoagie. Thank you. Yes, send me love, light, and protection. Exactly. We are under constant surveillance, these douche. Anyway, let me carry on. The question, would people buy US bonds? Look, it's the Wheel of Fortune, but it fell out reversed. When the card is the right way up, yeah, it means no one is in control, but the outcome is more likely to be a lucky one. However, when it's reversed, the demon is on top, the little demon, yeah, which means more inclined to bad luck. So anyway, let me just carry on. What comes out next? The High Priestess, which is the card of what? Machinations, yeah, behind the scenes stuff. What it means is nations are working together behind the scenes, and they're talking about US debt. They're talking about whether or not it should be bought or sold. In fact, I know it is being sold, but anyway, there is quiet negotiations going on behind the scenes. We saw the effect that Trump had on Davos. This is not good. Not good. Look at this. The devil. Yeah. People are basically saying he is deranged. Yeah. Declarange is deranged. This is also the dark money. This is also the people that are invested somehow in the US economy not doing well. Yeah. Sabotage. There are dark forces that are seeing this as an opportunity as well. Look here. Stinky fish, yeah, Page of Cups, an unpleasant or unexpected message, yeah. Obviously, Declarange has been shooting off his mouth, so there's going to be more unpleasant messages from the world, particularly in regards to US debt. Just in case you weren't sure, look at this, the Lover's card, which is the card of what? Contracts and agreements. But you guys know I associate this with international trade, goods, services. This is like the tariffs, agreements, economic agreements, yeah. And then look. The Seven of Pentacles, which is the card of what I call ROI, return on investment. A lot of the world are just going, you know what? It's not worth it. Because Duck L'Orange and this regime is too unstable. They're too greedy. They're too attached to diabolical things. This is also the Epstein files and all whatever that cabal is involved in it. And they know that they're, and also as well, you know, this is also my card for Netanyahu. Yeah. So there are many things going on, but the Wheel of Fortune, yeah, came out reversed. So this is not in everyone's full control, guys. You have to hold on. It's gonna be rocky. Yeah, it's gonna be rocky, but there's the answer. So US debt, people are like, not so sure. We have 1,164 of you here. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me live tonight. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Let's do another quick look at here, and then I'm going to squeeze one more in. Let's do share screen, and let's just remind you about this. Where is it? One second. Cancel. Where's the Praxis? Oh, there it is. This one. All right. Let's just do here. Let's do share screen. Why can't I find it? Oh, there it is. So we didn't have time to go to it in depth on the Wednesday, but this is linked. The website is linked in the description below. Look, this is Praxis, yeah? So reunite the West, they say, yeah? Join Praxis. They got over 151,068 people who have joined this thing. Value of Praxian, they call Praxians, founded companies over 1 billion. Look at this. It's like something out of the Borg or Star Trek about Praxis. Praxis is the world's first digital nation, a home for the brave who strive for virtue and wisdom. Our purpose is to restore Western civilization and pursue our ultimate destiny of life among the stars. What they mean by Western civilization is the established patriarchy, and anyone else, if you're not the right color, you're, yeah. And if you don't have that, you're, yeah, or, yeah, that's what that really means. Look at this, sovereign intelligence. Look, they've got that whole Michelangelo thing. Yeah, but look, you see, this is an AI hand. Yeah, these are the people that want to integrate technology into the body. They're actually transhumanists. That's what they are. Yeah, they want to Neuralink, all of that kind of stuff. That's what they want. Look, digital nations. Look at this. This is like some giant new reimagining of the UN with all these probably digital crypto people. The next wave of crypto adoption requires crypto infrastructure integration into the core functions of society. Digital nations provide the path. So what they mean is deregulation and doing whatever the hell we want. That's what they actually mean. And what's it all about? Artificial intelligence. Yeah, building scale-powered data centers along with the permissive model. Greenland is very cold. It takes a lot of water to keep these chips cold. If it's freezing up there in the glaciers, you don't have to pay for it. Yeah. Crypto, same simple crypto regulations to improve access and efficiency for digital consumers, promote openness, interoperability, and composability. So basically, our own rules. Energy, unlock advanced energy, including nuclear fission and fusion by improving regulation and accelerated licensing. It just sounds good on a certain level. Biotech, increasing velocity of experiments via streamlined regulation, which means no regulation at all. So, because remember, they don't want, in the US, the big beautiful bill, no regulation on AI, crypto, and all that stuff for 10 years. Remember, these are all the people that are joining in this. You see a lot of people here on the East Coast, a lot of people here on the West Coast, bits in between, Europe, of course. Well, look where the money is. Australia over here, a bit of India and that stuff. You've got a few billionaires and very wealthy people in India, and even 1 or 2 places in Africa as well, and South America. So you can see here, now look, they want to build this. It looks like something out of effing Lord of the Rings. But guess what? You can't build structures like that on permafrost. Oops. How's that going to work when it all turns to mud? Anyway, so this is their vision. And then look, Praxis citizenship, which you can see here. This is obviously their desired type of person they would like to have as part of their membership. Let me stop the sharing there. I think I've said enough on that. Oh, gosh, 4 minutes past the hour. Forgive me for the pace, guys. because you got to get all of the stuff in. Let me do one more question in. That was Praxis Nation. That's what they want Greenland for. So when Trump says, I need Greenland, we need Greenland, he's talking about his billionaire benefactors who have paid for all of this. The people in Praxis, Peter Thiel, surprise, surprise, Sam Altman of ChatGPT, yeah, all of that, and all the other oligarchy. That's what they want. They want to screw over the world, and they're going to live in Greenland in their idyll, so they think. Yeah, right, that's not going to happen. Anyway, so let's put here, someone has asked, which month will Trump be gone? Question, can you find out which month Donald J. Trump will be out of office? Maybe you could ask the question for each month individually, and which month will his entire administration be gone, and will both happen in the same month? Look, I know people are in a lot of pain, and everyone is like, when is he going? When is he going? We know what the problem is. It's Congress, yeah? Pluto is in Capricorn. It's the billionaires that support him, yeah? The way to get rid of Trump is to basically have the economy go like that. Then they lose their money, even the stock market people, and that's when the billionaires will stop supporting Trump. However, as we see by the cards looking at Davos and the rest of the world, you remember I said it will be the rest of the world that gets rid of Trump. The reason why Trump backed off on Greenland is because Denmark and Europe started selling off bonds. Guess what? The market started to tank. He was like, oh, because his billionaire friends started losing money. And I'll tell you something else as well. They say over 8 million Americans need insulin, yeah, to survive their everyday life. Yeah, I need a little bit now and again, you know, for me in the evenings because COVID. And anyway, too long. It's not about me. The point is this. 73% of all of the insulin that is used in the United States comes from abroad. 73%. Guess which nation provides it? Yeah, drum roll. You may have guessed it. Denmark. Denmark provides 73% of the total insulin in the United States. You know what they said? They said, you invade Greenland, no insulin. Imagine what that would do. These people in this regime, they are colossally stupid. They're gargantua. Imbecilis gargantua. I have to make up words to describe. Guess what as well? I think Denmark makes over 90% or so of the world's shipping containers. You know, it says Maersk, Danish company. They could just stop the shipping containers, be like, no, nothing for you. So you see why you had to kind of hot foot and turn it around? My God. Anyway, as you know, I do not read on death, but as you've heard me say before, I said it is a tricky time for Trump, but I said in particular when Jupiter starts going direct, and particularly when it goes back to Duck Larange's Saturn. Let me just quickly get his chart up again. And this is as far as I'm going to go in terms of timing and stuff like that, because also as well, there is free will. There is many factors that come in to why a person stays on Earth or not. Yeah, let's see if I can find this Donald here. Might have to get his chart open. And this will be the last little read. Yeah, just to give you this thing. We're going to go probably till 1:15. God, I'm sweating. All right, let's do here politics. Sorry I'm going so quick, guys, but you can see there is just so much happening. I'm glad to hear of the general strike. This needs to happen. When you hit them in the pocket, that's when they move and listen. It's the only thing these billionaires care about is the money. Yeah. Anyway, Doug Larange's chart. The important thing to understand is look here where it says TR. Yeah. This for Trump has happened in his 6th house. And what? Battles. Yeah. Battles. Wanting to go into Greenland. He's had a slap down. The important thing to look at here is Jupiter. Sidereal. Jupiter is in sidereal Gemini, not Cancer. Yeah. Sidereal Gemini retrograde. He dropped into sidereal Cancer, which remember I said is also the time of French Revolution. No king's protest galore, all of that stuff. He had a stroke. Yeah. Do you remember I said it's going to affect his health? The 12th house is hospitals, exile, ending of career, sometimes ending of the life, or exile. So remember this happened, you know, over the summer. No king's protest. It was all a disaster. He had a stroke, and obviously, remember, the face was all like that and all of that stuff. Jupiter is now retrograde. Then he's gonna stand still. Yeah, wherever Jupiter stands still, there's going to be a big blessing for people. So if you've got a planet around 20 degrees of sidereal Gemini, watch out. Yeah, big changes, possibly positive. Anyway, he will start going direct. The closer Jupiter gets to sidereal Cancer, where Trump has his natal Saturn, Venus, and Pluto. This shows all of what the international corruption. 12th house is imports, exports. Saturn is the planet of government. Yeah, it also deals with foreign lands, foreign government. Look, all the money that's come to him that way. I often refer to the 12th house as the house of royalties, indirect income, all offshore bank accounts. Look what he's doing. Yeah, all the oil and everything. Anyway, when Jupiter starts to return back on the 1st of June, it will be official, but we're talking even like in the middle of May, yeah, as he gets closer and closer to that Saturn, Trump's troubles are going to increase, because Saturn, for all for all Leo rising, which he is the ruler of the 6th house and the 8th house. The 6th house is health and healing, overcoming obstacles, battles. And the 7th house is anyone that's not us, imports, exports, but it's also known as a marker house, which means death inflicting. When Jupiter was on top of Trump's Saturn, he had a stroke. I'm not saying that this is necessarily when he leaves the Earth, but it could be the time when he leaves America. Imagine when after this K2, Rahu K2 combination, AI bubble burst, the rest of the world is moving its money around. Think of what's going to happen to Duck Larange. We now got the general strikes happening, which affect the finances, the money. And as I said to you before, I don't see him sticking around for that. Yeah. So I'll leave it there. So I'm not going to, like, let's pull some cards. What we need to understand, Trump is a symptom of a much deeper cancer. Yeah, this is what the Pluto return is bringing up all the ugly and the ick. This is also talking about 250 years worth of unresolved karma. The people that are still with him now, they're the problem. Yeah. Duck Larange is the symptom, but really think of the people, if even now, if they're still supporting him, like I said, they're, you know, they've made their vow. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Anyway, Duck Larange, and then I've got to end it there because I'm really going on. Thanks for staying with me, guys. Wow. 1,223 of you. That's a lot. Thank you, guys. Thanks for staying to the end. Much appreciated. And we're going to meditate on that card, yeah, that illustration, to change the timelines, yeah, so for a more positive outcome for the US. All right. Can't make this stuff up. Anyway, you've heard what I've said. You guys have been watching me for years. Duck Larange is trying to conserve, yeah, he's trying to protect himself. I heard there's allegedly he's working on his bunker in the White House. Yeah, he is basically trying to protect himself, his family, his money, his particular security. Yeah, this is you saw this card come up when we were talking about the world. This is coming up for Donald Trump, so he's feeling vulnerable. But just in case you weren't sure, yeah, we get the world card. This can literally talk about the world. So like I said, he has been eyeing up places in the world. I think he already has his escape plan. But this is showing up in the obstacle. The world card also talks about a great grand cycle coming to an end. So a big cycle in Trump's life is coming to an end. And it's probably going to end internationally or something like that. Or it's just the whole world is looking. Just in case you weren't sure, look at this. Another major arcana. As you heard me say, this is about contracts, agreements, imports, exports, trades, goods, services. Yeah. This is like what? His bloody board of peace. Yeah. So a lot of people saying, well, Trump is bored of peace. Yeah. So you got bored and bored as in being bored. Look, this is like his board of peace. He's trying to collaborate with the dictators so that he's got somewhere to flee to. Yeah. Should it all hit the skids. Just in case we weren't sure, look, the Emperor. Now when I'm reading for Trump, he's consistently showing up as the Emperor because he's fully maniacal now. Yeah, he's not even trying to hide his imperial ambitions. And these are the people that support him as well. He wants to, this is him trying to impose his will, but also those around him. But this is also the dictators, yeah? These people on this board of peace. I mean, he said, oh, he offered to Mark Carney. Mark Carney said, no, he's like, I didn't want you anyway. But, you know, Putin is allowed there. Anyway, it's not about that. Look, we have here the 10 of Wands, which is a card of struggle, of hardship. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for Trump. He's actually starting to struggle because, of course, if you've got the whole world against you and the economy starts not doing good, then his rich billionaire friends will be upset, because they supported him for the money. It's just greed. Let's see his clarification on this. All right. Ah, here we are. Look. Here. It is the Fool. It can be taken literally as the Fool. I mean, we know he's an imbecile, but this is also a leap of faith. He's going to go for it. I know I've been bleating on about this for ages, but I think when the rubber hits the road, Duck L'Orange is going to escape. That's what I've always seen. Yes, he's got the frontal lobal dementia and all of this kind of stuff. But you see, he's been working on his security, his money. He's trying to grab as much money as he can. Yeah, because he knows the world is against him and a cycle is coming to an end. He knows he doesn't have long. He's doing as many partnerships as he can, contract, getting the money in. Yeah, talking to the dictators. But it's hard work, it's hard going because he's so unpopular. But at some point, he's just going to have to take the leap of faith and go for it and try and escape, or he just exits stage left. But it's more around that May, June. And once, yeah, Jupiter is in sidereal Cancer. Remember I said that is also the energy of French Revolution. And I forgot to mention as well that Pluto is out of bounds in his southern declination, which also means global uprising and turfing out the old establishment. Yeah, so quite a time to be alive, folks. Oh, I forgot to click on this and show the, sorry guys, I forgot to have the thingy-bob going up on the side. Anyway, folks, I'll have to leave it there. Sorry if it was at pace, but I had a lot of ground to cover. I know we've gone way over. Thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for people who have been getting the picture. Sunday, yeah, those of you of Coffee with Hoagie, I will see you on Sunday, and we're going to discuss this. And we're going to look at the timelines, amongst other things, and bring your tarot cards as well if you're coming to that. I want us to do group pull. Imagine a group pull with 20 people. I want to see what the cards come up as. One card, yeah? One card each. I will leave it there. I'm glad the show survived that little kind of attack. But let's keep pushing on, folks. The world is changing, and this regime cannot last forever. All right, I will leave it there. All right, big love, everyone. Mwah! See you soon. And yeah, I'll see you soon. All right, bye-bye for now. Cheers.